Who are they?
What is it?
Oh, my apologies. It's just been so long since
Are you a Renin?
Oh, yeah, I guess so. The Overseer told us to answer any questions you might have. Whatever you want to know, we'll tell you as much as we can. But be quick. Our subjects are undergoing a dramatic shift that we don't want to miss.
What a weird guy.
He must have meant Hevrecht 35 when he mentioned that Overseer.
And what was that about subjects? You don't think he meant Dana and Rena, do you?
There isn't anyone else we can talk to. I guess we should ask around here.
Have you guys lived up here in Dag Fazel with Hevrecht?
Yes. I couldn't tell you off the top of my head just how we regularly go into stasis, so our sense of time has gotten rather out of whack over the years.
Why are you all even here in the first place?
Originally, this station was where we worked to perform maintenance on Lenegis from the outside.
We heard that the facility ended up in its current location due to an accident.
Oh, it was terrible. Apparently there was some kind of accident, and when help never arrived, they presumed the entire facility had been destroyed.
And you've been working for Hevrecht 35 ever since?
Well, at first we thought that there was nobody else inside the facility, but then it turned out the Overseer was there all along.
What do you mean?
The Helganquil have the technology to cloak themselves around us Renins. As long as they don't do anything obvious, a Renin won't see one, even if it's right in front of them.
Which would explain why Shion and I failed to notice the Red Women previously. Do they employ an astral art of some sort?
I haven't been able to scientifically confirm it for myself, but from what I understand, the type of cloaking they use is primarily achieved through mechanical means. In addition, they also used hypnosis devices and information control to get us to do what they wanted without being detected. It's a pretty sophisticated operation, especially since it avoids any unnecessary conflict. I have to imagine that's how Lenegis is still run.
But aren't the Helganquil themselves controlled by the Great Spirit? If so, why aren't Renins affected by it in the same way?
The Great Spirit's mind control only works on Helganquil, so they had to employ other means to manipulate us Renins.
You act like this didn't affect you personally. If I was you, I'd be mad as hell at their deceptions.
I mean, sure, I was surprised when I first found out about it, but it happened so long ago.
Hevrecht 35 has clearly ceased concealing itself, though. Why is that?
Who can say? My guess is it just got bored, or maybe even a little lonely.
Don't you want to go back home to Rena or Lenegis? Our ship is going to be fixed pretty soon. You could ride with us.
No way. If we went back after knowing the truth, they'd either just brainwash us or purge us outright. After all this time, there's nothing to be gained from going back. We've all agreed it'd be best to simply stay here and watch everything unfold instead. Things are going just fine with the Overseer. Not that it'll be around much longer. It can't extend its life any further. That said, I'm sure it's pleased to see the final stage of the plan before it passes on, though.
Thank you for answering our questions. Can we talk to you for a few minutes?
Sure. It's going to be a while before the two planets undergo their next shift, so I can talk until then.
Please, tell us what you know about the Helganquil.
You mean the Overseer species?
Well, for starters, where'd they come from?
Where else? From Rena, obviously.
From Rena? Wait, are you telling us those things live right alongside the Renans down there?
Of course not. There's really no such thing as Renans in the first place.
Excuse me?
Oh, I thought the Overseer explained everything.
Apparently not.
Please, tell us more.
Well, in a nutshell, the Renans were originally created from Danans by the Helganquil.
But if that's true, then that would mean there aren't any people on Rena.
There aren't. But there are Helganquil. That's what the name literally means in their language. People of Rena.
But what need could they possibly have to create a whole new race of people?
It was a way to bolster their dwindling workforce. I trust you're aware that the Helganquil are on the verge of extinction, yes? In essence, we were created to carry on their work for the Great Spirit after they all die. They gathered Danans who had an affinity for astral arts and proceeded from there. That's why we, as their descendants, can all cast arts, albeit to varying degrees.
Let me get this straight. Are you saying Renans were originally created from Danans that the Helganquil kidnapped?
Wait, that explains why almost nobody can use Astro Arts on Dana now.
Helganquil technology is truly amazing. The way they alter their bodies is far less invasive than your conventional surgeries.
They have these tiny machines that are practically invisible, which they insert into their bodies and—
Enough! You needn't tell us anymore.
How can you speak so calmly about all of this?
I guess I can see how, when viewed in a certain light, their ways may sound grotesque. But if you ask me, I think they ultimately did us a favor. They saved us from crawling the earth in ignorance. If it meant their hands had to get a little dirty in the process, then so be it. Anyway, the Helganquil are the real Renans. Personally, I don't think it's such a big deal. They're also mostly the ones behind what you see going on between the two planets. I think that covers just about everything worth knowing.
I see. Thanks for filling us in.
Does he really expect us to believe that Renans never truly existed? How absurd.
Dohalim.
Just when I think we're getting to the bottom of it all, some new revelation smacks us in the face.
Then let's hope this is our last revelation for a while. Do you know anything about a spirit channeling?
If you mean the first plan from 300 years ago, then yes. Do you know what its main objective was?
Yes. It was to use Lenegis to siphon off Dana's astral energy and send it.
Exactly. However, there were two problems we had to consider. First was how to collect and send such a large quantity of astral energy. Second, we had to figure out how to convert Dana's energies.
I take it the solutions to those problems were to use the wedge for the collection, and then the Sovereign—
We have a winner! However, the first plan failed when the Sovereign— The reason for that is because the Maiden lost control. I'm told he slaughtered many Renans in Helganquil that day. For the next plan, we tried to recreate the Renis Alma, but we didn't have nearly enough of the other non-dark To amend that, we set our sights on Dana, and implemented a system whereby we could extract energy from it.
And the crown contests began.
Correct. Since the Maiden had been the failing point in the previous plan, it was just a new Sovereign had to be made as well. It was such tremendously difficult work, its success was dubious. But from the—
So that's what the purpose of that room we found in the Forbidden Zone—
What about the flower that sprouted—
Flower? Oh, that thing. That's the physical manifestation of all the astral energy that's been— As I'm sure you've noticed, it's quite a lot of energy. At this point, it's like...
Hevric 35 mentioned that the spirit channeling plan...
It is. I never thought I would live to see the day with my own eyes. And are we done talking now? If it's all the same to you, I'd really rather not miss anything that's about to happen.
He talks like the potential end of the world is just another day on the job.
You've got to remember that these guys have been living alone up here for a long time. Who knows what shape their minds are in?
It feels like our whole world has been turned upside down. Is there anything we know that's still true at this point?
Seriously, I'm still trying to process the fact that we Renans were created by the Helganquil, let alone the Sovereign and Maiden stuff.
Let's take a moment to gather ourselves. I know all of this is a lot to believe and take in, but I think it's...
Agreed. Though I'll admit that I never expected it to all boil down.
Everything that's happened, everything we've endured, it's all because...
And to get that energy, the Great Spirit took control of the Helganquil. Then the Helganquil created the Renans, who went on to invade and rule...
Plus, the reason the Great Spirit can't directly control the Renans as well is likely because they were
Either way, I think it's fair to say we've all had a lot to take in at once. Maybe too much, even. We should Why don't we all take some time to think things over, before we...
That's a good idea, Kisar. If the Renan Great Spirit really is behind all this, and we've got a really big fight ahead of us. Because it's not just Dana on the line, but Rena too. If we're going to do this, we need to be completely sure of ourselves. So let's go ahead and break off for now. We aren't in any immediate danger, so we should be okay. You sure you don't want to be alone right now?
I could ask you the same question.
I figured I'd get all my thinking in while walking around and checking up on everybody.
I'll go along with you. I'm interested to hear what's on everyone's minds, too.
Sounds good. Let's go find them.
Everyone's just gone their own way, huh?
Yeah, let's hit up each spot. Everything we thought we knew, it was all just a fabrication that the Red Women, no, that the Helganquil made up.
Right. Assuming we can believe anything that Hevric 35 has told us, that is.
Well, if the names are anything to go by, it's possible the Helganquil could be behind the fruits of Helgen too.
But if Hevric 35 was telling the truth, and this was all just one massive lie, does that mean everything we've done up until now has been pointless?
No, I don't think so. Or at least I hope not. I think it just means we've lost our foothold for now. That's all.
Really? Well then, if we've lost it, I guess we'll just have to find another. All of us together. And if we can't find one, then we'll make a new one. End of story.
Make one, huh? I see. Right then. Count me in.
Oh, it's you two. Does he seem like he's doing any better now?
He who?
I know that we're all struggling to wrap our minds around it all, but he looked like he was...
What do you think about everything we've learned? About the Renans and the Great Spirit and all that?
On some level, I'm not even really sure what to think, to be honest. I mean, the Great Spirit is like a huge natural disaster, but with a mind and will of its own. But if that thing's hellbent on trying to destroy our planet, then the only thing left for us to do is stop it. As for the Renans, I suppose my feelings on that are a bit more mixed.
How so?
Coexistence between Danans and Renans in Menancia is still a work in progress. In my case, I think that's partly because deep down, I was still on guard around Renans. So... to be told that they're like us, that they're actually just like us is... well... I guess it's a little deflating, to be honest.
You kept a pretty level head.
You mean about the Renans? At the end of the day, the Helganquil and the Great Spirit are the ones who are responsible. But at the same time, I realize that not every Danan is necessarily going to believe that either.
I know you're already aware of this, but the list of grievances the Danans have against the Renans is long, and understandably so. And if people then find out that they're all actually one and the same, yeah, I don't think they're going to take to it too kindly.
Even just among the Danans, I'm sure there'll be some who emerge with power and some who won't. I think if we can find a way to get rid of that imbalance, then we'll be in a truly good place.
Well, first we can try to figure out what to do about the existing conflicts we have.
Yeah. It'd be nice if one day people could learn to get past their hatred like Rinwell did.
It's no small task. We can't pretend like the past didn't happen and ask people to forget their very real pain and suffering.
Right. Everybody has their reasons for feeling the way that they do. But if we just keep yelling at each other about it, we'll never move on. In a worst-case scenario, it might lead to even more people getting killed.
And we all have to figure out how to meet halfway. Not just that, but to also embrace each other's pain, in a sense.
That's an interesting way of putting it.
It's true. Everybody has their own scars, their own trauma. The first step to healing those wounds is to put aside that hatred. It won't be achieved through reasoning, but I think it's a good first step, if nothing else. And now, I think I see a way to move forward. But to do that, first we need to make sure our planet isn't going to get wiped out.
You both seem awfully calm.
Only because after everything we've seen, we don't have the energy to keep being shocked.
How are you holding up, Rinwell? That whole talk about the Renans looked like it shook you up a bit.
Yeah. I get this sinking feeling whenever I remember how Danan mages like my family were persecuted and died out. And now, I finally know why that is. But I was thinking, if Renans end up living together with Danans again, then mages won't be such an unusual thing to see on Dana anymore, right? I know it's not as simple as all that, but Danans probably won't be so quick to let their guards down, and there might be Renans who still act superior because of their arts.
It wouldn't surprise me. 300 years of bad blood and prejudice isn't going to be an easy thing to overcome.
Yeah, I know firsthand just how much hatred can take hold in your heart once you let it in. But even so, I was still able to change. And if I can change, so can anyone else. So I was thinking maybe, I don't know, I could use my position as both a Danan and a mage to help bring both sides together.
Rinwell.
That great spirit worries me too, though. Dana's will feels so warm and inviting. So why is Rena's will trying to destroy our entire planet?
Now that you mention it, Everett 35 and the other scientists here never really brought that up. Maybe they don't know either.
Maybe. But regardless, at the end of the day, Dana's still our home. There's no way we can let it be destroyed.
We won't. We'll keep it safe no matter what.
I still can't believe it, man.
You're not the only one still trying to make sense of all this. Believe me.
Really? You've never struck me as the type of guy to get hung up on these sorts of things.
Did you forget what happened back in Thistleum? Once my memories started coming back to me, I felt completely and totally lost.
It was really that bad for you?
Yeah, it was. But thanks to Law and everybody else, I remembered that I still had things out there worth fighting for.
Man, I think you might be a better guy than me, Alphen. All I can remember thinking was, when's this guy gonna get his act together?
Law.
I was too worried about repeating the same mistakes I'd made back with my dad, and running away from the truth. That was no way to live. And I've tried to stay strong, my way. But all this talk about other races and the world ending, if I can be honest with you guys, it's just all too much for me to handle right now.
I know this is going to sound strange coming from me, but maybe the key is not to worry too much about the big stuff right now.
Oh?
I used to worry all the time about my thorns, for obvious reasons, but I never really opened up to anyone about them. And when I realized my visions pointed to a threat that was bigger than me, I didn't know what I should do or who to tell. But that's when I finally got it. You guys were all there for me, to teach me what's really important. I just had to open up and listen.
In other words, if you let the big picture stuff get you all muddled up inside, you'll begin to lose sight of what you really care about. Yeah, I think you're right.
The thing that's most important, what I really care about, all I want to do is protect the people that really matter to me, to fight for them. That's good enough, right?
Not everyone is strong enough to fight.
Huh?
It's something your dad told me once when he was still alive. Law, you know you're strong enough to fight, and you're strong enough to protect the people you care about. Forget all the big stuff going on. Just don't lose sight of what you want to protect in the first place. Sound good?
Yeah, I think it does. It's like a big weight's been lifted off my shoulders. I'll fight to protect the people around me. Just like I always have. I think that's best.
I apologize for making you witness that.
You mean hearing the origins of the Renans?
Indeed. It's shocking to have so many things I thought to be indelible fade away in mere seconds.
Even I'm still not sure everything we've heard here is actually true.
Let's not delude ourselves. If what we've heard is a lie, it's a rather elaborate one. I can only imagine that you must have been constantly feeling like this, ever since your memory returned, Alphen. And you as well, Shion. About your thorns, and being a maiden.
That's just part of being alive, don't you think?
Well, to say the least. But enough about me. I'm not concerned for myself. What concerns me is all of the other Renans out there.
When you say the other Renans, you mean the ones that are living on Lenegis or Dana, right?
Correct. Even if we stop the Great Spirit from annihilating Dana, putting aside the untold state that Rena may be in, if we do not truly belong there, we will have to think.
So, I guess your only real choices at this point are to either stay on Lenegis or come down to Dana.
And at the same time, Danans are hardly likely to embrace Renans with open arms. There is, after all, 3 centuries worth of hatred to overcome, and the victims of our rule have absolutely every right to feel animosity towards us Renans.
I didn't expect the former Lord of Menancia to be so down.
Menancia's fate was there had been backlash over how it had been ruled, and I was blessed to have sympathizers among my ranks. Still.
But things can still change if you have the right people to help lead the way.
Indeed. I have fully accepted the burden of that responsibility. On that note, I have something...
Oh?
I wish for you to serve as a mediator, so that the Renans can live on Dana peace as the one and only blazing sword. I suspect the Danans may listen to what you have to say when
And I take it that you'll be the one?
Yes. I realize that, however, The fact of the matter is that it will take time for Renans to re-enter Danon society without an... Is it too much?
No, relax. You get so tense and formal when you're asking...
You're too kind.
That's some high praise, Al.
Then I'll ask once again. This time...
You don't even need to ask.
Thank you.
Well, it sounds like everyone's learning from their past and using it.
What about you, Shion? How do you feel about the origin?
To be honest, I'm not really all that shocked, actually. I mean, I might be right now, it's kind of...
How do you mean?
Because for a really, really long time, all I ever thought about was how I was going to die. Not if. I thought I'd die alone. That fate had me in its steely grip. I would have never imagined that I'd be traveling with someone like you, fighting to save Rena, and it's been going on for 300 years. All this tragedy and destruction. When you consider the help, it was Naori's hope that somehow, someone in the future would be able to... How it fell on us, of all people, to heed that call.
I don't think Naori was hoping that we would just stop the world from getting destroyed. She considered me, a Danon, as a real person. I don't think she wanted the world to be saved.
Huh?
When we were talking to Kisara earlier, about all that stuff like everyone's needing... She said that the first step down that path was that means forgiving other people. Even...
Forgiving?
Yeah. I don't just mean forgiving things that happen in the... If we have any hope of moving on and building a better future, we have to...
You know, you're right. People can hurt one another without even meaning to.
It's not going to be easy getting past this pain, but if we can do it, I'm sure there'll come a time when we can all truly understand each... I'm there with you, Shion. I too want to protect the world. I think that's the very least I can do to repay...
Yeah. I want a future that she...
Whoa there, Savior Girl. We're here to save you.
Yes, I know. Don't...
Well, is everybody ready to do...
I am. There's a lot to think about, but at the end of the day, Dennis, I don't care who we're up against. We'll kick their ass.
What are your thoughts, Alphen?
Like Law said, if we have to fight the Great Spirit on Rena, it's trying to rob us of our entire world. And it's going... That alone is enough to make it, but it's not only that. One way or another, I think beating the Great Spirit is...
You're saying there's a chance?
You're referring to the vision of destruction we all saw in
Yeah. 3 centuries ago, the astral energy that appeared at the Spirit Channel, and to hear Shion tell it, it's the same one that she sees from her own thorns as well.
Indeed. Shion's thorns are comprised of dark astral energy. And if Rena's Great Spirit is what's behind Dana's pending destruction...
Shion's thorns are the Great Spirit? It's not actually on Rena like we thought?
We don't know anything for certain. At the very least, though, I think it's possible her thorns are a part of the Great Spirit.
While the main body resides in Rena.
Shion.
If these thorns really are a part of Rena's Great Spirit, I'm going to go over there and give it a piece of my mind and then some.
The question is, how do we confront it? Suffice it to say, that flower growing out of Rena is enormous. The Wedge and Lenegis were both hard enough for us to overcome in their own right. This is an altogether...
And we only know about the Thorns connection thanks to...
Hevric 35 has been observing the Great... It wouldn't ask us to fight it unless it has a plan of some sort. Our minds are made up. Let's go give Hevric 35 our answer.
So if the Sovereign and Maiden were originally boot-up programs for Lenegis, what about now?
Even with the Forbidden Zone in ruins and the Renaissance stolen, Lenegis is functioning fine. If it needed us before...
First they lumber you with a position you never asked for, then you're discarded like you're nothing? Who the hell?
More importantly, who do they think we are? We might not even factor into their list.
I just hope everyone on Lenegis is...
Worst comes to worst, Lenegis is equipped with a large number of starships that people can escape in. As long as the whole satellite doesn't suddenly
Wait, explode.
In any case, if we're truly going to make a difference, it's on Rena we're needed.
Right.
Do you have your answer?
We want to ask something You're asking us to fight an entire planet. You must have something up your sleeve, or else you wouldn't put us up to it.
The great astral spirit is an immense being, but its actual will does not... Rather, its will is derived from the core, which supports the rest of the body. And therefore, if you destroy the core, the great spirit shall become unable to maintain sentience.
And how are we supposed to destroy...
By using the Renus Alma. You will also need the assistance of both the Sovereign and the Maiden. They are using their powers. The Maiden shall seal the great astral spirit within her body, and the Sovereign shall wield the power of the Renus Alma to destroy it.
Hold on. That sounds a lot like what Shion described before.
Yeah, killing herself to take out the thorns with her.
She was actually right all along.
By my calculations, your powers combined should be sufficient to destroy the great astral spirit, and disperse its energy widely enough to make it difficult to reform.
What will happen to the Maiden once we manage to beat the great astral spirit?
Any matter contained within the field of destruction shall be erased.
So it really will kill me.
This method is the most simple one available to destroy the great spirit, and is therefore our most reliable option.
What are our other options?
There is little reason to consider alternative courses of action when the most optimal among them is so clear.
You don't get it. I promised Shion that she wouldn't die, that we'd save the world without needing to sacrifice her. We didn't fight this whole time just to give up on her at the very end. If there's any other way to take out the Great Spirit, I want to hear it.
This plan shall lead to the fewest losses in preserving your world. Abandoning it is irrational. It is vital that you proceed with this plan. A part of Rena's great astral spirit already resides within her. 300 years ago, the Great Spirit descended upon Lenegis in an attempt to assume direct control of the spirit channeling ceremony. We have reason to believe the Great Spirit left part of itself behind, and that it now resides in the Maiden.
Which would make Alphen's earlier hypothesis correct.
That part inside the Maiden belongs to the core, and can be used by the great astral spirit to revive itself. So long as it remains, it will be all but impossible to fully eradicate the Great Spirit. That is why it is necessary for it to be vanquished only once it is whole. Without the Maiden's direct control over the Great Spirit, attacking it is futile, and will only serve to strengthen it.
No.
Wait. Naori said that the Renus Alma can suppress the self-realization of astral energy, and that the thorns can be neutralized by placing them in it. If so, can't the same also be done to the Great Spirit, seeing as the thorns are simply part of it?
Well, can it?
It is true that the Renus Alma is capable of what you suggest, and could contain the great astral spirit.
Yes!
However, doing so requires fine control on the level of the spirit channeling ceremony, considering that the Renus Alma was previously lost when that ceremony failed. I cannot allow it. Its uncertainty is simply too great.
What does that mean for us if you won't allow it?
Your starship will not be restored, and you will all be unable to leave here.
Why you?
Fine then. I'd rather stay here and rot than do it your way.
Alphen?
Whatever we do, if we mess up, Dana's screwed. The Great Spirit will destroy it. If you're fine letting that happen, and we have nothing to gain either way, then I'd rather do nothing. We want to stop Dana from getting destroyed. We want to save it. But not if it means having to sacrifice one of us in the process. If all you're gonna do is sit back and watch us where it's safe, then quit ordering us around and shut up!
Alphen.
What you say is irrational. Be that as it may, I shall accede to your demand.
You'll agree?
I am an observer. The Sovereign, Maiden, and Renis Alma are my species' greatest achievement. I wish to see how well they work against the Great Spirit in light of our demise by its hands.
But what are we supposed to do about the Renis Alma? One of your buddies ran off with it back on Lenegus.
It is likely that the Renis Alma is with the Great Spirit, functioning as a catalyst for it to receive Dana's astral energy.
So our only option to retrieve it is to head straight for the Great Spirit and take it back?
According to my observations, the astral energy is most densely concentrated in the center of Rena, where the Great Spirit's core is located.
So right in the middle of that giant flower, then.
I have one more question. You've said that Rena's great astral spirit is already integrated with the planet. What will happen to Rena once it vanishes?
Without the will of the Great Spirit, Rena is predicted to collapse. Even in such a scenario, the energy will disperse, and the Great Spirit will likely not reform.
So you're saying that even if we manage to beat the Great Spirit without destroying it, we'll still be in danger?
Likely, the collapse will occur in stages. It is recommended that you all escape before the final stage.
Man, I wish that thing would tell it to us straight for once.
Hevrek 35 and the others have gotten used to hypothesizing from afar is all. Fix our starship. We're going to Rena.
Excellent.
But I want to make one thing clear. We're doing this for ourselves, to protect what matters to us. We're not doing it for your sake, or because you told us to. Remember that.
It matters little to me. The end result shall be the same. Repair work on your starship has commenced. You'll have to wait until it's finished.
Man, is it too much to ask for Hevrek 35 to talk like a normal person? I swear I can feel my brain starting to fry after listening to all that complicated stuff.
Don't worry. I think we're mostly done with him. Now all we have to do is rest up and wait. Once the Fall Knights is good to go again, we'll be taking off for Rena right away. Is the Renis Alma really our only hope against the Great Spirit? There has to be another way, right?
Shion's Fire Master Core was able to suppress astral energy to prevent it from gaining sentience, right? Couldn't we make use of that somehow?
I'm not sure. In small doses, maybe, but with the amount of energy we're talking about here.
Back in Calaglia, the Blazing Sword was able to take in a whole spirit vessel's worth of energy. If it has the capacity to manage that, it can do this, right?
Except after it absorbed the energy, it ended up releasing it all moments later, remember? Let's not forget, it nearly killed you. Besides, this is the Great Spirit we're talking about, not a paltry vessel. Even if I could use the Master Core, your body wouldn't be able to take the strain of channeling that much energy.
Hevrek 35 didn't mention it, and it did not seem the type to skimp on details, so assuming it's even possible, the chances are slim to none.
You're probably right.
You still thinking about what the scientists told us? About where Renans really come from?
I am, but not for myself.
You're worried about the future of the Renan people.
The fact that our people have been the same this whole time will only give the Danans further reason to resent us.
But you still intend to confront this truth head-on, don't you?
Well, I did declare that I would live my life for the living, and not the dead. Even as I dream of retirement, I shall remain dedicated to the cause.
I'm sure you'll do great.
Now that I think about it, I don't believe I've ever heard you criticize or reproach us Renans even once.
I'm no saint. I have skeletons in my closet too. There was definitely a time when I hated Renans for who they were. I hated them just for being Renan. But you changed that, Dohalim. You gave me an opportunity to see them in a different light. Thanks to your reforms, we were able to stand next to Renans not as slaves, but as equals for the first time in our lives. Of course, I'm sure there were some Renans who still hated us on the inside. But we knew that not all of you were like that. There were those of you who were good, and that was a start. When it comes down to it, Renans are just people. They can be good or bad, just like Danans.
That is, in essence, the heart of your approach, isn't it? That we're all people.
Yeah, it is. When you can pull someone aside and talk to them one-on-one, then you have the chance to come to an understanding. But as soon as you stereotype, that chance goes away, and you stop thinking of them as people that you can relate to.
I understand what you're saying, but we're talking about massive numbers of Renans and Danans alike. Realistically speaking, surely they won't all be able to get along.
Even if we end up butting heads with one person, maybe we'll find better luck among their friends. If we can build a society that works like that, that'll be something worth nurturing and protecting.
So you wish for people to form real bonds and do away with the hierarchy outright? To deal with one another as humans, and nothing more? That's the ideal future you hope to see when this is all over?
Yes, I do. I think it would make for a fine tribute to my brother's legacy. Though, that said, I would be doing it for the people of the future first and foremost. Do you still plan to return to Lenegis when this is over?
Indeed I do. I don't know whether I'll be able to reside in Lenegis proper, however. My first order of business may be to find somewhere to live.
You'll home in Menancia, you know.
As I shall ever keep in mind.
Well, if you ever need a helping hand, don't hesitate to come get me. I'll always be there for you, Doe.
Did you just... Never mind. Thank you, Kisara. I appreciate your patience as I work all this out.
Don't even mention it. And really, when you think about it, now that we know the two of us aren't so different after all, don't you think that brings down a barrier that used to be between us?
You know, I hadn't actually thought of it that way before. But I do like the sound of it.
Yeah, I think I do too.
Hey, why'd you call me here? Was there something you wanted to talk about?
Well, if everything we've heard about the Great Spirit is true, then we're getting close to our final battle. So I wanted to apologize while I can.
Apologize? For what?
I was being real stupid before, about whether Dana's will had been controlling us and all that. I get why you're angry now. Anybody would be if something they trusted was being questioned. So, I'm sorry, Rinwell. Really. I should have kept my mouth shut.
No, Law. Honestly, I think you might have been onto something. Of course you were worried. Who wouldn't be if they found out there might be some invisible force pulling our strings this whole time?
But you really trust Dana's will, don't you? Is it because you can sense it a lot more than the rest of us? Because you can understand it?
Yeah, I think that might be part of it. But I think I also want to believe it's good.
Believe?
Remember how I used to really resent coming from a family of mages?
Yeah, of course. Because you were always on the run and had to live in hiding.
When we rescued Zephyr and I finally decided to come along with you all, something changed inside me. It was the first time I felt like my powers had any meaning, even if that meaning was only helping you guys fight. Then, when I felt Dana's will, I was overwhelmed by how vast and warm it was. It made me want to believe my powers were made to connect with it. It made me believe I had a bigger purpose.
So that's why you hope it doesn't turn out to be bad. You almost need it to be kind.
Yeah.
Well, alright. Then I promise I'll lay off bad-mouthing it.
You will?
There's no way for me to know for sure one way or the other, right? But you trust it, Rinwell, and that's enough for me. So I'll trust it because you do.
Remember what I said about neither planet's great spirit reaching us here?
Yeah?
That's not quite true. I can feel just a little bit of Rena's inside you and everyone else.
You... what?
I sensed it when we first got here. It's a really small amount, so it doesn't feel like it has a will of its own. But I think that's how Dana's energy probably is too.
So you're saying there's a little bit of Dana's will inside each of us? In a way, doesn't that mean we're all Dana's will?
What?
Well, like you said, unless Dana's energy comes together, it has no will. So if we all have a little bit of Dana's astral energy inside us...
Yeah, maybe...
Hefric 35 might know the answer. But, you know what? I don't need to ask it. My will is my own. I fight for who I want to fight for. That's who I am now. Who I've become. So thanks, Rinwell, for sharing that with me. To be honest, the only reason I was suspicious of Dana's will, well, I mean, it mostly was... I feel like you and I had grown apart lately, and I was worried it was because...
Huh?
Never mind. Nothing. Just forget about it.
Huh? No, what were you saying?
Saying? I don't remember
Come
saying
on.
anything.
Now you won't tell me what you were thinking?
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Then spit it out already.
You sure you don't want to get some rest?
I can't. I've got too much on my mind. Especially knowing how close our last battle is. How are you doing, Xion?
Same as you, still trying to absorb everything.
Remember when it was so simple? We were only fighting all the lords on Dana? All of that feels like a lifetime ago, doesn't it?
Ages and ages ago. Everything that's happened since we first met. So many fights, so much chaos, so many wonderful people.
If I hadn't run into you that day, well, I wouldn't have met all of you. I never would have held the blazing sword or looked for something more. I wouldn't have my memories back. I'd still be a faceless slave, like as not long dead.
Hey, Alphen. I want you to promise me something.
Yeah?
If we can't find the Renis Alma, there's something I want you to do. Like Hevrect 35 said, the only way we can end the Great Spirit for good is to go after both the main body in Rena and the thorns in me. I need you to promise me, Alphen, that if for some reason we can't get the Renis Alma back, you'll use the blazing sword to destroy the Great Spirit, and me along with it.
Huh?
It's true the blazing sword may not have the strength of the Renis Alma, but it's taken us this far. It's slain lords and beasts. At the very least, it has to be worth a try.
You can't be serious. Have you forgotten everything
Listen,
that we've...
The Great Spirit isn't just our problem. It's a threat to our entire world. Renans and Danans alike. We don't know what's going to happen when we face it, but we need to be prepared for anything. We can't second-guess ourselves when the time comes. I promise you, I'm not planning on going anywhere. I'm prepared to fight with absolutely everything I've got. But if it comes down to it, I need you to be prepared too.
Okay. But you should know that I'm not going to give up on you, Shion. I'm going to fight this until the very end. I hope you can forgive me for that.
Alphen. Okay, I understand. And I'll forgive you.
Thank you, Shion.
So it's a promise then?
Yeah, it's a promise.
I remember how I felt the first time you touched me. My thorns made any contact a mistake no one would ever make twice. After they'd seen what could happen, fear would always linger behind their eyes. In my entire life, I never had someone willingly reach out to me. But when you reached out to me and gently took my hand, you didn't react at all. It was so easy for you. I don't have words for the shock I felt in that moment.
That's because I couldn't feel pain back then.
Even once you could, though, you still chose to keep reaching out to me. And when you did, I felt this warmth that I had never known before. But still, I hate having to see you suffer through it every time you do.
You won't have to worry about that for much longer.
You think so?
I do, because Shion,
No. You can tell me once my thorns are gone. Okay?
Yeah. Okay. Everybody get enough rest? We ready for this?
Yeah, we should probably get moving.
Agreed. Can't stand around waiting all day.
Our task is relatively straightforward. We need only descend down to Rena, defeat the Great Spirit, and restore stability to both worlds.
We're fighting for a new future for both Dana and Rena.
Right. We've come this far. We will save our worlds. That's a promise.
Then let's go, everybody. We've got one last wall to tear down.
Repairs on your starship are complete. Everything is in working order.
Is that you, Hevrek 35? You can see us from where you are?
I can. I can see anywhere within the bounds of Dake Faisal.
Sounds like someone's a peeping Tom.
Maybe we should give Hevrect 35 a break. It has been stuck in this tiny facility for a very, very long time.
I have unlocked all functions on your starship. You can now make use of its warp drive.
Warp drive? Wait, you mean like what the Red Women used on us? What brought us here?
It's possible that the Red Women may have found a way to activate it on the starship. They are Helganquil, after all.
Using the warp drive, you should be able to breach Rena's atmosphere without being detected.
Wait, should?
You'll need to be careful. Due to the force field surrounding Rena, the ship will be unable to go any further than the surface of the planet.
So, once we reach the shell, it appears we'll have to infiltrate the core by foot. Understood.
We gotta go all the way down just walking?
Will all the Helganquil go back to normal once we defeat the Great Spirit? I have a strange feeling we're going to have to fight them before this is all over.
The extinction of my people is inevitable at this stage. As such, it would be illogical to risk the success of the mission in a vain attempt to save my kind.
We understand.
Can't that thing lighten up a bit? Everything it says seems to be about what's illogical.
Well, come on, Doe.
Hold up, did you just...
You heard the lady. Get going.
I have one last question.
What?
As Sovereign, your identification number indicates that you are well past your predicted life expectancy. Similarly, the Maiden lacks any identification number, as her function should have been rendered unnecessary. Despite this, the two of you continue to exist. Why?
We exist because others have entrusted this to us. Over the years, many people have come together and sworn to see this through to the end.
You mean it is because of multiple chance interactions? The likelihood of such events is statistically improbable. Why have you two continued to persist under these conditions?
It's hard to explain. To be honest, I don't think it's something an observer could understand. All right, time to get back on the Fall Knights.
This is a true masterpiece, no less than culinary art. It would appear that our Helganquil host really has fulfilled its end of the bargain.
You know what that means. Time to go to Rena.
I guess this means we should give that warp drive a spin.
There's nothing here. This weird ocean we're surrounded by just stretches out everywhere. Is this really where the Helganquil come from?
I don't sense even a trace of astral energy. This world is dead.
Then this must be the hollowing.
You mean to tell me this whole world, the entire ocean is that stuff?
And it's covering everything. The entire planet.
This is what the Great Spirit does. After it depleted this planet of every last speck of astral energy, it went after Dana.
So arresting. This world of doom.
Back in its day, Rena was probably just as vibrant as Dana is. But after being robbed of its astral energy for so long, those days are gone and past. This is all that will remain.
So the Great Spirit took everything. It stole energy not just from living beings, but the land, the sea, everything.
And it bound the Helganquil in servitude, until their whole world was nothing but this. And by the looks of it, that's how it remains to this day. A world of death and emptiness.
With nothing left here to consume, the Great Spirit turned its sights on Dana, looking for another host.
You're saying if we don't stop it, this is what Dana's going to look like?
We can be sure that even these few remaining remnants of Renan life will not be spared in the end.
If the oblivion and darkness both Shion and Naori saw comes to pass, nothing will survive. It looks like we can climb down from there. Let's take a look.
So this is Rena. This is where everything began. Yet it's a dead world?
I won't let Dana suffer the same fate. Ever.
A hollowed ocean as far as the eye can see. What do you think would happen if we fell in?
What do you mean, what would happen? You'd drown, wouldn't you?
Come to think of it, I don't believe I've heard of someone ever trying.
This is essentially a world-sized Renan graveyard. Are you
No, because I said I passed.
Taking an interest is understandable, but let's not forget where—
Looks like we're not going to be hearing the end of this one for—
You'd think I was already snorkeling in it or something. So the idea is to seal the Great Spirit inside the Rena's Alma using the Sovereign and Maiden's power. But just how do we do that?
I'm guessing it won't be as easy as holding a spirit channeling.
I already had wielded astral energy once 3 centuries ago. As for the problem isn't just our enemy's strength. It's that it's sentient, too.
In other words, we need to find some way to
Back when Shion's thorns flew out of control, we were able to deal with them directly.
If that's the case, it should make them easier to attack at least.
We might just be able to weaken it enough to steal the Rena's Alma. It won't be easy, but it's our own... Question for you. Let's say, knock on wood, everything...
What'll the world be like? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of this...
A lot will have to change, that's for sure. The world will have to adjust to so much.
What do you mean?
It's well and good putting an end to Renan rule. But if it just turns the tables...
That's true. Just as bad if the Danans started pressing...
Renans, Danans, astral art users, mages. The world is full of labels.
If only we could see differences like that for what they are. No different as someone having a... Not differences, so much as...
It will take someone in power to set an example. But with time, people will follow. And
there will no longer be any need for the example.
That's where we come in. We can imagine it. A world where magic and astral arts are used to help people.
Yeah, you're right, Rinwell. Why wait for...
Looks like we've warped into that pit of astral energy.
I wonder what Helganquil civilization was like at its zenith.
I can imagine that'd be something you'd take an interest in.
There's no question it must have been advanced, like none either world has ever seen.
I get that you're itching to delve into its history, but we've got bigger...
Put a pin in it, and you can do all the research you want when you...
I can think of worse things than a retirement dedicated to research. As for whether Rena is a man...
It's a little early to begin...
A man can dream, though.
Oh, we didn't say there's...
In your case, Dohalim, dreams...
You'll need to stay with us for now, though. You're too helpful to let retire.
Why do I feel this is less of a compliment and more...
Just a friend...
Hey!
Is this about dinner last night? I didn't realize those ingredients were off.
What? No, I mean... What?
Rinwell, the point.
Oh, yeah, right. So I was thinking about those armored soldiers we've seen. There are regular Renans inside them, right?
Yeah, they're designed to make whoever's wearing them stronger. At least, I think that's the idea.
Right. So it kind of begs the question then, what?
I don't know, makes them more intimidating, I guess? Or maybe all that tech wizardry inside takes up a lot of space.
You don't think it's weird how the armored soldiers are the exact same height as the Helganquil?
Can't say I'd ever noticed it till now. And?
Connect the dots, Law!
Okay, let me get this straight. You think the armored suits might have originally been designed to allow Renan...
Huh. But if...
It would mean... just that, I guess.
Not... hugely? Hey, Kisara, well, I've got you.
Get him, Hootle. Oh, now you want to...
Ow, ow, ow! Seriously, what the... You know, guys, when you think about it, we've taken out a lot of zoo.
You can say that again. If one thing's for certain in this world, it's...
Isn't it weird that they're still so plentiful? You don't think the Renans have...
Certainly in all of my years, I've never heard of them constructing such a massive facility on Dana.
The only thing I can think of, then, is that the feral one...
There's also no organized effort on our part to hunt them down.
Exterminate them? Whoa.
What do you mean?
Zeugles originally used to be living creatures native to Dana and Rena, right?
You're right. Zeugles were only created because of us Renans.
First people made Zeugles, and then we let them go. And now we're trying to kill them because they're a...
I hope we find a way to be able to live side...
It's a nice thought, but they attack towns and cities.
Aside from the strays that have gone wild, it's worth remembering that
If we had distinct territories that didn't overlap, that might reduce the danger
Well, I guess when you look at it that way...
Helganquil!
Guess they don't need their Red Woman disguises anymore.
Wait, can you understand us?
It's no use. We're not going to get through to them.
So they really are being controlled. In that case, we've got no choice.
Shattering the... There was something off here?
They're not pulling punches. We have no choice but to beat them at their own game.
Hey, when did I get so popular?
You picked the wrong fight!
Now I'm in trouble.
Pull nothing back! Stay away from my friend!
It's time!
No! It can't end here!
Take this!
Deny!
No pay for that!
Dragon Shield! Let me help!
Vacuum blade!
Talon Hurricane!
The flame inside me! Sure!
This ends now!
Consider yourself finished!
There you go, Alvin!
It's time to end this battle!
I'm right beside you!
Vacuum blade!
Do it!
Still!
This ends now!
Consider yourself finished!
Let me show you what my
The enemy wields arcs too.
Where are you We'll soon see about that!
We'll get you!
Try harder!
I'll tear you apart!
Vacuum blade!
Swallow dance!
What a relief! Vacuum blade!
Do it!
Look sharp! Lightning tiger blade!
Take this!
Here's a healing hurricane! Right cascade!
See what happened there as you crossed me.
Severing wind! It exploded?
Don't get caught in the blast! This ends now!
Consider yourself finished!
Alphen.
I can't forgive them for what they've done, but I hate killing them. They don't even know why.
Perhaps. However, if we don't make a choice, the guilt of not doing anything will be that much worse.
Yeah, I know. I hate for...
I wonder if we're going to get attacked again.
If we lose heart now, this whole mission is over. We have to stay the course.
I thought there'd be more dirt and rocks and stuff underneath the hollowed ocean, but it's all up.
I would imagine they're remnants left behind by the Helganquil, seeing as there's little actual...
It's incredible. Do you think it's...
Hey, these guys built Lenegus, remember? He probably did this in a weekend.
If they had the power to create things like this, did they really or rather, was that the only use the Great Spirit let them... We haven't seen anyone here except Helganquil. Looks like this place...
The true citizens of Rena. What a shame that they have become nothing more. To think of the promise their accomplishments once held.
Do you think we could have got along with them? You know, if we had met under
Like all of us, you mean? I suppose it's difficult to say for sure.
I think we may have had the chance once. Before the Renan Greats.
You and Alphen both share an optimism. On the contrary, I should like to take a leaf from your book myself. And
Just look at the size of that thing. The Helganquil's technology certainly is impressive in the past 300 years. No, even before that.
Regarding the past 3 centuries, at least, I'd say there's a good chance. Also, while I get that it's impressive and all, I'm just amazed you're still standing around gawping at it at a time like this.
I can understand where he's coming from. More to the point, does anyone...
What do you mean where it leads?
And that doesn't strike you as sounding just a little bit, oh...
Yeah. With all this technology at their fingertips, it seems pretty... There must be some kind of device somewhere.
Borrow one of their contraptions?
If it works for them, there's no reason it wouldn't for us. Why...
You know what he's like, Law. Once he gets an idea in his head, there's...
You see anybody around here who could use our help?
We can't chase after every little thing.
I never realized before just how...
You're only just noticing? Ah, yes, forgive me.
That's the one. It's hard to believe I once worked in this soup. Well,
And all with the mask concealing your face. It must have been...
back then, we had our plates full enough. It never occurred to me the air itself was oppressive in its own...
I think that's called heat stroke.
You mean that water that's been festering under the sun for days? I wouldn't...
Oh, I know. I'll go to the...
Water alone won't suffice. You'll need to ensure...
In that case, let's see if we can rustle up some rock salt. Alphen, you go...
And then there were two.
Bit of an overreaction.
Maybe it's not the time, but
I know what you mean.
you don't ever regret meeting me sometime.
Are you kidding? You started all of this. Bringing down the wall, retrieving... Hey.
Yes.
Just great.
How's this?
Got it.
Hey! Yay!
All right.
We've reached our destination. Why are you staring at me?
I could ask the same thing.
So this is how the Sovereign and Maiden are supposed to look. You two go great together.
Law, come stand between us.
Oh, sure. You want me to put something white on as well?
Of course she doesn't.
Take a closer look, Shion. It's a miracle.
What are you talking about?
This outfit, it's already got blue accents on it.
So I see.
I love how much amazing food we get to eat even when we're out on the road.
Me too. Especially compared to what I used to have when I was still a slave. This is paradise.
It's amazing what good food can do to keep your hopes up. Nagal...
Yeah, ain't that the truth?
That's why you shouldn't be such a
Huh?
She's right. You always leave food that you don't like.
Come on, what's the big deal?
Back in the day, I couldn't think about leaving any food.
Exactly. Even when my brother and I didn't have much to eat.
That definitely explains a lot about...
Dohalim, I bet you don't know what any of that's like.
Sometimes it was gold.
You didn't shy away from...
Although...
Oh?
When I first learned that the food I ate originally came from animals...
You just ate whatever.
That's a...
Your cooking has really improved.
It's because of you that I understand what makes it so fun.
I've noticed a disturbing trend that after it's your turn to cook, our ingredients tend to run...
That is a good point, Law. There's a weird difference between the amount of ingredients she prepares and how much food actually gets...
I don't know. Isn't it pretty normal for...
Or maybe she eats all the bad batches herself so we won't notice.
Come on. I wouldn't do it.
Then how would you explain...
I have a theory.
What is it?
As we all know, Shion here can have quite the appetite. By my eye, it would appear that her footprints are leaving deeper impressions as of late.
She's been snacking while she cooks.
And yet, she still looks so slender in her...
Yeah, I'm kind...
Wait a sec, are you guys...
I'm what?
No.
Nothing. Shion,
Sorry about that.
I didn't come to criticize you.
You don't need to worry about me. In case you... It's like how you used to not care about getting beat up because you couldn't feel pain.
You're right. That is how I used to...
Then what do you mean? How is what's...
It's diff...
Look, if you mean because you can feel pain again...
It's because I don't want to see you get it... You're right. When I couldn't feel any pain, I didn't listen to anybody's warnings. This isn't about you and me being able to take pain. Is that a crazy...
No, it isn't. And we can't expect our enemies to show us any mercy. But
I'm sorry if I sounded harsh earlier. I didn't mean to.
I will, at least.
Shion, could we talk a moment?
I thought you had something to talk about.
Not really. Why? Should I leave?
No.
We used to really have to force these conversations when we started talking.
To say the least. Hey.
What is it?
Do you think you'd like to make something together?
Make...
Just, if you wanna...
Huh? Dinner?
What did you think I was talking?
No, it's nothing. Don't worry about it.
Well, do you
This is...
So you remember? That's right. We're going to fix the... Although I remember it not being well received.
You still remember that, huh?
I'm just teasing. I picked this recipe because it's easy to make, and I thought it would be... Anyway, let's get to...
I never thought we'd end up eating alone like...
Yeah. So much has...
No, I'd say even that's changed too, in a sense.
True. We both come...
That's not exactly what I mean. How...
Yeah.
Even after our battles are done. When Dana is saved and our mission is finished.
Yep. I doubt...
I hope our dinners will always...
Maybe not exactly like this. Hopefully we...
Oh, no, not at all. I meant in a nice, warm house.
And real chairs instead of these logs. Nice plates and silverware.
And when it's time to fix it...
Standing...
Yeah. Whoops. Looks like we made too much.
Yeah, you're right. I'll see if anybody else...
Side by side.
I think it's time we go to sleep. Morning. Ready to... Head out? Doing some thinking?
Nah. It just...
Is it a wonder to you, our group?
Maybe. We've got Danans, Renans, yet here we all are.
If anything, I'd say it's proof.
And... with understanding.
I've always had a thorny relationship with up. I figured that it was easier to give up. I mean, is it any wonder I...
But now...
Right. Now. I know now that there is more than one way for people to relate to one. Everyone that you brought...
It wasn't just me. I mean, sure, swordsmanship's about all I have to offer. Everyone's taught...
You see?
What do you mean?
I mean... the bonds that you form with others. It's not just one bond for you. It's many.
Hey, Elfin, why do you like spice?
You know, I haven't thought about that before. Maybe because when I could...
But now that you can feel pain again...
Did you like spicy...
Not as much as I do now. At some...
I can most certainly relate. Once you've had your fill of ordinary...
I don't think that's got anything to do with Alphen's tastes.
I just wish I could have gotten you into sweets like me, Outfit.
I like food that's dense and keeps you feeling full myself.
We all know you're a quantity.
What was that?
Nothing.
You know, I've also noticed Shion's not really into the same kind of...
That's so me. Even when I was little, I was all about food that gives me strength. All meat, all...
And I guess Kisara is so good at cooking fish.
I'm only good with fish because it used to be the easiest thing to get. When you work with...
I like fish just fine. But what I really like about your cooking is how it tastes homemade.
Really? You know, I used to cook a lot of...
When you get down to it, I guess the things a person cooks and the food...
Hey, guys!
What?
I know! The bag we kept it all in has vanished!
What?
Huh?
This affects you too, you know! We lost...
What? How could this happen?
Hunger is like that. The moment you know there's nothing you...
Whoever did this, I swear I'm gonna make them pay! Law?
What? Hey, don't look at me like that!
Food.
Hand it over.
Stay away!
Hey, I'm back.
Only a poignant reminder of how dangerous a food shortage can be in a...
I see. Does it have any...
This was a good day.
It's a brand new day, everyone. Let's greet the dawn.
A laudable sentiment.
Hey, is Dohalim's shirt on backwards?
Suffice it to say, mornings aren't his strong suit. Looks like we made it here in one piece.
I think there's someone in trouble here.
Well, let's see what they have to say.
Yeah!
Hey.
Yeah!
Just...
I guess... Thanks.
Huh?
Well... All right.
All right.
I guess.
Whew.
Got it.
Looks like we made it here in one piece.
Is this the barrier that's keeping the Zoogle that Nath mentioned?
Looks like it. Our Zoogle pal should be on the other side.
This barrier is weird. It looks old and half-finished. Plus, he said it was okay to break.
I mean, we won't need it anymore once the Zoogl's going, right? So what does it matter? Did they really think that barrier was enough for a Zoogl like that?
It was. That thing was sturdier than you give it credit for.
Really? So that's the Zoogl, huh? This should be a piece of cake.
Don't get careless, Law.
I've got a bad feeling about this one.
Me too. Better keep our distance.
Oh, man. I hope I live long enough to regret this. Oh! Now I'm real mad!
Not today!
Aim for the weak spot.
Force flash!
There you go!
I can carve through. Now I'm in the groove.
Leave the enemy's arc to me.
No complaint here.
Force
I'm on it in a vine.
Force
flash! Far enough. Anything in armor is all mine.
There!
I can carve through. I'm just getting started.
Vacuum blade!
Security!
You picked the wrong fight!
Super swallow dance. Talon hurricane.
Force flash! Slice!
Outstanding form! Where are you going?
Prepare to be sealed.
Force flash!
Rolling snap. Take this. By the top.
Amazing.
I can carve through armor.
There!
Let's get you off of the way.
Vacuum blade!
Raging cascade!
All mine.
Use all the power of my healing arts to accomplish this.
Vacuum blade!
First strike.
Banana!
Eat this!
Rolling snap.
Need to pull yourself
Swallow
together.
dance.
It looks like you got this one covered.
Now we're not in a vine. Here I come. Nothing gets by me. Dragon shell.
Vacuum blade!
Denied.
Healing circle!
There!
What a leaf shattering
To stop you dying?
Now I'm in the groove.
Vacuum blade!
Let's tear 'em up.
Arc sealed! By the power of
There! Now or never! Vacuum blade! The flame inside me yearns to be
lightning!
Eat this!
Oh, now you're talking.
This one's mine! Not in your dreams!
What's this? I'll let you all down.
You pay for that!
I'll bring you back from death
No
abyss.
further.
A whirling struggle! Winds of heaven!
This one's all mine! You picked the wrong fight! Now, while it's reeling!
Take it down!
Leave the charges to me.
A chain between heaven and earth!
Ready and ready.
A wailing shield ready! Don't mind if I do!
First strike. Now I'm in the groove.
Raging cascade! Annihilation!
Now you see what I can do.
It's time to finish this! Die! Consuming wildfire!
Lightning! Downfall! Radiant
Caramel.
Raging!
Take this.
Hammond! Flame of fury!
No further. I'll finish you here and now.
This world!
You picked the wrong fight!
Lunar flight!
Luna Rondo!
Swallow
Luna Rondo!
By the power of flame!
Super swallow dance.
Lightning orb!
Talon sword.
Lightning condense!
I'm not done!
Talon Kazam!
Ready
You
and
win!
ready.
Holy Lamb!
Here I come!
Between heaven and earth!
I'll smash you.
Divine
Luna Rondo!
Eat this. Talon sword. I'll let you all down.
Win! Stay away from my friend!
Leave the chargers to me.
I'll bring you back from death to this world!
Luna Rondo!
Flawless flight! I'll
Take
bring you
this.
home. Here's the raging
No pay for
cascade!
that.
Healing circle!
Dragon shell.
Friend!
This one's mine! I owe you, Theon.
Healing is what my arts do best.
All mine can do is cause havoc and destruction.
A whirling struggle! Burning winds of heaven! First glacial spear! Piercing what's this? Cyclone! Anything in armor is all mine! I'll smash you! Here, let me help.
Throbs in pain.
What's this? Conjugate to the fray! Do it! Now!
Look sharp! Lightning Tiger Blade!
I'm going to need to use all the power of my healing arts to accomplish it. Here goes! More with that hit, Strong!
Can't get out of this one, all mine!
No armor can
stop me! Remind me to stay on your good side.
The enemy is doing all out dodge! Air thrust! Anything in armor is all mine!
I'll smash you! Lunar Rongo!
Here I go! Dragon Show! Here goes! Will this help? Lightning Blade! Thunder Blade! A chain between heaven and earth! Swallow Dare!
I'm sorry to be a bother.
We've all got enough of it.
Take this! Yes, ma'am!
Astral
In a bind?
Let me show you
I've let you all down.
Rise and shine! Wind Astral Energy!
No! Can't end here!
Don't leave me! A whirling struggle! I'll fix winds and heaven! First force!
pay for that!
Talon Hurricane! What would I do without you? All healing art! Here goes! Mine!
Come and get it! Watch it!
Don't mind if I do.
Not my fight!
I'll heal you all! Photon, lightning condemned! Thunder! Healing circle! A chain between heaven and earth from death's abyss!
Thanks for the healing.
Watch yourself, okay?
Yeah, you too.
Take this! No further!
Glacial spear! Pierce evil!
Burn in hell! Not my finest!
Lunar Rongo! Back from death's abyss! Get on in there with me!
Severing wind! Mirage!
Glacial spear! Pierce evil!
Lunar Rongo!
Who cares?
Not my finest! Can't move!
Don't give up!
There!
Resuscitation!
Lunar Rongo!
Sometimes the best medicine. It's about to strike.
Look sharp, everyone!
I'll bring you back. Maelstrom! Illuminate the dark!
To me!
Come forth, holy glimmer!
Not done yet!
Holy flame! Aim between heaven and earth!
Far enough!
A wailing banshee of
Try
lightning!
harder.
This one's mine!
Lunar Rongo!
That'll bring you down!
Talon shattering of pieces! I'm just getting started! Lunar Rongo!
By the power of water! Banshee of lightning!
I'm on it.
I'm all stopped up!
Burn in hell!
Got it.
Lunar Rongo!
Now's our chance.
Here I am! I'm on a roll! Get out of anything in armor is all mine! Not my finest! Here I
I'll
come!
bring you back from death's abyss! Field!
Time! Now let it rip!
Sorry!
This should do it!
Resuscitation!
Lunar Rongo!
Reload! I'll bring you back from death's abyss!
Not my finest!
I'll bring you back from death's abyss! Resuscitation!
Mirage! Coming through! Ha! Now! Scarlet Inferno!
I'll bring you back from death's abyss!
Lunar Rongo!
I can handle it!
Not done yet!
I'll heal you all!
I've let you all
I
down.
won't give up!
You!
What was I thinking?
Stay away from my friends!
Lightning! Down!
Lunar Rongo! It's on! It's gonna
I'll
attack!
bring you right! Watch out!
Not done yet! Big blast!
Resurrection!
What a relief!
I'll bring you back from
Dragon
death!
Shout! I'm on a roll now!
I've still got some fight left in me!
Try harder!
And again! I'm all stopped
Not
up!
today! Super Swallow Dance! Lunar Rongo! Talon Hurricane! It's
Go time!
Divide Sidious! One more time!
I'm on a roll now! I'll smash you! I'm on
Ready!
Talon Hurricane! Can't get out of this!
Without a break!
Far enough! Anything in armor is all mine!
Ignite!
Talon Storm! Lunarongo! Lunarongo!
Banana Blast! Go! Burning Strike! Glacial Spear! Here's the evil! Tempest Whirl!
Whirlwind Duel! Not my
Here's the
fight!
healing arc! The flames will roar! First aid! Thanks, Soma! In here! I'll bring you back from death's abyss! Let's get you all tucked away! I'll bring you back from death's abyss!
Throbs in pain.
Hey! Thunder Field!
We've got him on the...
Don't get cocky!
Right. Still anyone's fight.
Lunarongo! Swallow Dance! Talon Storm! Can't get out of this!
By the power of Saturn, finish without a trace! Security! Maelstrom!
Dragon Shoot!
Don't mind if I do!
Eat this! Talon Hurricane!
Come forth!
Ready to go!
Security!
Not my finest.
I'll bring you back from death! Maelstrom! Reload! Raging Storm! Tunnels! Dance in the wind!
You require
In
a hand.
Let's
Not
get you
done
all
yet.
tucked away! Whoa, hey! One at a time! Can't be happening! A new lease on life! Shield! This'll come in handy! Can't be happening! Flat! A banana, let's go! Tempest Whirl! Swallow's Flight!
No! Can't end...
Here! Thinking! Air thrust! This can't be happening! What was I thinking? Air thrust! I'm... sorry. Resuscitation! Here's a healing arc!
Not done yet!
Far enough! By the power of
Lunarongo!
burning! I won't give up!
This one's all mine! Try harder!
Prepare to be sealed! Not done yet!
Try harder!
I'll bring you
Eat this!
Lunarongo!
Shattering Burn! Pieces! Attack time!
Lunarongo!
Dragon Shout!
That's been a smart.
I'm just getting started! Now you see what I can do! First strike!
Raging
Dragon
Cascade!
Shout! No further! Watch this!
Let's get you all tucked away!
Tectonic Press!
Banana, let's go!
Lunarongo!
Here's the evil!
Denied!
Blah, 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 magic!
I've let you all down.
I'll bring you back from death with astral energy! What the? Hit! Lightning condense! Thunder blade! Illuminate the blah, 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 magic! Holy lamp! A chain between heaven... What was I thinking? Mega ray! I'm not sure how we get out of it. You mean... this might be the end? No, never! Stay strong!
Prepare to be sealed!
Here's a healing arc!
Not done yet!
Is it... A new lease on life.
Ready to go!
Take this! Denied!
The flame... Side me, you... yearns to be let free! Swallow dance! Burn in hell!
Not my fight.
Luna Rongo! Hut! 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 Luna Rongo! Hut! Try harder! Luna Rongo! Hut! Hut! It's time! No! It can't end here!
Hey, she's pretty cute.
Who are you looking at?
Hey! Hey! Yes! Right.
Sure.
I don't believe this! Ah! Okay! Great! Good. Nice work. Ah!
But this is...
Wow. Yes!
Oh!
Amazing! Nice work. Very nice. Thanks. Yes!
We finally made it.
Woo! Do you sense one of your friends, Hootle?
Hey.
Huh?
Yes. Oh.
Yay! What? Yeah!
Yes.
Yeah!
We avoided getting roasted in that ring. But what we could really use is something to cap this off.
Sure. Got any ideas on what would be good?
Mabo curry. Fried bread stuffed with curry.
You'd probably buy out the whole stock.
Hoo hoo. Hoo! Hoo hoo hoo. Hoo! Maybe something's going on in the forest. Do you sense one of your...
Well, most of the perches are filled up now.
What cautious lives they must have lived. They deserve...
They're all so lovely individually, but I think they look...
I don't know. It's hard to relax with...
Yeah, I guess Owls do...
He's at it again.
Come on, you know you like it.
Frankly, I never thought you'd get...
You are so quick to rescue those in need. You have given us...
We're on the brink of extinction. We must work to...
You carry a...
Don't you worry. We can change...
This isn't just your fight.
That was you interpreting for the...
Yeah.
It's nice to see everyone getting along, but perhaps we...
Just who was that
Try not to think about it too much.
We've come this far. Why stop?
Hey, Hootle. Huh?
Sure is good to be back in the pleasant climes of Menancia. Especially...
Definitely.
You do me an honor. However...
I didn't mean it that way. Native or not, that doesn't change the feelings you had for the place.
Allow myself to feel pride, huh?
Nothing sounds easy when you overthink things the way you do.
He's always worrying about something. It's probably what gives...
Yeah, so we...
Let's change the subject, shall we? It's a wonder so many things. Alphen's awakening, Shion's decision to revolt, the Danon uprising and...
Zephyr's being in the right place at the right time.
It's almost as if we were brought together by design.
No, enough Hand of Destiny talk. We did this on our own steam.
Did Law just utter a pearl of...
I do think about things, you know.
Honestly? I always sort of pick...
What the hell makes me adult, you do?
I mean, she did say he was a...
Let's refrain from poking this particular Zoogle any further. Some lessons...
Not to dolts, anyway.
Hey, Kisara. What's your secret for putting up with Dohalim?
Secret?
Could have had me fooled. Anyone who waxes lyrical on the aesthetic quality...
And those poetic flourishes he sneaks into regular conversation? How am I supposed to react?
He likes the sound of his own voice, that's for sure. I say let him have his fun. No need to try and understand anything he says.
Has he...
He didn't seem as on edge all the time back in Menancia. Though he was my superior back...
A Lord of Cislodia hid in plain sight while a crony posing as him carried out all his business.
An imposter? Dohalim? Hardly. Like it or not, that's him.
I'd like to see someone try...
Come to think of it, what with being a lord and all, he's
It wouldn't surprise me. Having you guys around...
A little heads up on some of it...
Hey, Alphen. What do you think of that chick over there?
Doesn't look like she really works out.
I'm not talking about her muscles, you dumb...
We've reached our destination.
Hey, Rinwell, tell me about your parent.
They were kind. That's the part I like to remember. I never understood why I had to work so hard to learn magic. Why we couldn't just be done with it. Needless to say, that didn't go... Of course, if I'd had known that one day I'd be doing this, I would have... What about your parents?
Same deal. Run through the mill. Told constantly that training was the only way to survive in a world like this. It got bad enough that I ended up running away and siding with the Renans of all people. And now, I've got that training to thank.
I know how that feels.
The first time we met, you risked using your magic to stop me from kicking my dad's ass.
Yeah, I guess...
You don't say.
Not really. Not at all, in fact.
Wow. Well, I won't pretend I understand, but I'm glad.
He was.
Maybe it's the snow soaking up all the sound, but something about Cislodia always...
When it comes to solemnity,
I won't argue with you there. Still, that azure tint of the shadows...
Indeed. It was boorish of me to even...
All I know is it's freaking cold. Still, more pleasant now.
Well, excuse me if I'm too frosty for your...
Oh, come on! You know I didn't mean you. Besides...
How about we stop getting hung up on the past for a change? Take what you...
An unexamined past can be just as dangerous.
Better that than obsessing over it like a certain someone I know.
Kisara doesn't mince her words.
I could say the same thing about one or two of the...
Tell me about it.
I think I'll refrain from...
Hootle, I've got some dried fish for you.
Forget that. Doesn't some tasty red...
Hey! Stop trying to coax him away with treats. Get your own adorable psych...
He appears to enjoy being the center.
Funny how things change. He and Rinwell used to be joined at the hip. Or...
It's not just Hootle who's become more trusting.
They do say pets and their owners act alike. I suppose since we've been together...
Well then, I guess with you and Hootle, that makes us all one.
Sometimes when I'm deep in thought, Hootle will come over and sit next to me.
Oh, you will someday. You won't believe...
Wish I had that problem. I'm lucky if I can so much as...
Really? He seems tame enough around everyone else. Maybe it's just...
That's dogs, not owl.
What's going on when Hootle pet...
I don't know. Like when I'm talking to... Unless... Wait.
Come again?
Ow! Ah, get off of me, you
I rather think they make a good...
We've reached our destination.
Everything okay there, big guy?
I'll say. He looks like he wants to bite the...
What's eating at you? Come on, Alphen. You're gonna bring...
Oh,
Yeah, it kinda makes you hard to talk to.
it's,
A pebble?
snuck its way into the back of my boot.
Oh, I totally get you.
Yeah, it's barely bigger than a grain of sand.
You know, maybe this is a crazy solution, but you...
Phew. It's like...
Seemed kind of obvious, but that's the trouble with windy places. All that fine
Alphen, is it just me, or have you become extra...
Now that you mention it, the other night at camp, there was a flybuzz...
So much for sensitive. That's just...
Nothing new on that front, then.
What's the matter, Alphen?
He wants to get angry, but knows that doing so would only prove our point.
Would you stop analyzing things for...
Point taken. We've reached our destination.
Hey, Law. Been training?
Yeah, I guess I got a little carried away. You think this...
Yeah. A word of advice. You might want to refrain from mentioning that...
Man, can you imagine Rinwell's face?
I meant in general, but... You sure meant...
Huh? Oh, you know, she's always there. Even when...
Either that, or maybe some part of you is subconsciously always wishing she would...
May the trials and tribulations of young
romance? Like I'd be interested in that know-it-all tomboy. I'm more about mature women.
You know, I used to be a tomboy too when I was Rinwell's age.
Look, it's not tomboys I have anything against. But come on, you've got to admit...
Hey, I miss anything? What's all the fun?
Thunderblade!
Ah! What the hell was that?
A little birdie told me you were speaking about me. Pooh!
From the looks of it, I'd say...
It wouldn't be called the Spring of Youth without a little storm every now and then.
Hey, Shion. How are you?
That's a little out of the blue.
Sorry. It's just... I don't know. I'm just curious.
I suppose you're right. Well, to tell you... But then, if we hadn't met like we did, then I never would have experienced the...
I can imagine. I know it's not the same thing, but...
Because of Miguel.
Alphen's still alive. It's not too late, and after all, who can say what the future holds?
Besides, touch isn't everything. I've never...
That's true. But I do remember back when we first met.
But that was a long time ago. There were lots of things I didn't understand.
Don't worry, I'm only teasing. And you're right. There are...
I'll say, cooking it, and if it's someone's favorite dish, all the better.
You might just have a point.
Uh-oh. If it's Alphen's palate you're appealing to...
Well, friendship is about being...
Even after staying here, we never truly got to the bottom.
Renan and Danon are meaningless distinctions here. To have one's own mind...
That might be the case now, but it can't always have been like that.
Once, maybe. Question is...
If it's not, we'll just have to make something new. No.
You're right. It's time the people here had the chance to forge their own path. Let's not just...
These things take... What the...
Sorry. There was a huge flying bug and I...
A bug? You mean...
Something tells me she would have shot it, whether it was a Zoogle or not.
This realm is teeming with humid forests. It's only natural in fact, I seem to recall reading somewhere that bugs around these parts lay their egg...
Sounds like they're tougher than they look.
What about you, Alf?
I wouldn't say I was their #1 fan. Mind you...
Insects as a culinary option, you say?
What? No, Halim.
Hey, a lizard!
Right.
Leo Temple. Isn't that where Shion was being held?
Shh. Wasn't it beautiful? I can't wait for this.
I never thought about this until now, Alphen. But doesn't it get hot wearing that armor all the time?
Admittedly, yeah, it can get...
Is it hard when your back starts to...
Oh, you bet. Plus, my shoulders get stiff where...
Kisara looks like she manages all right.
Armor takes a strong body and a
Spoken like a true guardsman.
The more I think about it, the more I realize what a pain it must be.
Ew!
That part can be a bit of a pain, yeah. More...
That sucks, man. Wouldn't it be easier if you just walked around outside of your armor?
You never know when the enemy might attack. As tempting as it might be to take it off, it's not worth...
So basically, you're screwed if you ever get attacked while taking a dump. Right, Rinwell?
Are you doing this on purpose?
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Just great.
Cheers!
Cheers! What? Nice try, you two.
Never.
Wait. Something's wrong.
I couldn't catch...
Oh no. This is just like...
I'm alone.
What can I do to get her to snap out of it?
Alphen?
Shion, you're not alone. You've got all of us. And it wasn't just one bouquet, there's also this one. So please, we'll fight this together.
You dummy! That's not what I was upset about. How many times do I need to tell you not to That said, it does make... Even if your bouquet is just a weapon named after one.
I'm just glad I could help. And I made another one to go with it, so it...
You never cease to amaze me, Alpha.
Feel it. Better now. Leon?
I'm sorry I lost my cool like that.
Don't worry. It's not like I have any room for criticism.
Being a grown-up isn't easy, is it?
That was quite the little adventure we went on.
I hear a voice. But he's asking for help.
Hopefully it's nothing that'll be
Yes.
Excuse me!
Hey!
Really now?
What?
I see. Agreed.
Very nice.
Dohalim, the line of researchers is getting longer.
Perhaps I should have put more thought into this before accepting.
You finally made it.
Did we really just spend that much money?
finally made it.
Are we underground? This looks like the inside of some kind of ancient structure.
It seems likely that we're in a Danon temple, instead of destroyed. Must have been buried and preserved. Either that, or it was constructed underground to begin with.
Looks like we made it here in one piece.
Hey, Shion. Why do you look so tense? Whenever we're traveling on the road.
Do I? It's not something I do.
I came out great. I'll see you again tomorrow.
It's a brand new day, everyone. Let's greet the on.
A laudable sentiment.
Hey, is Dohalim's shirt on backwards?
Is it to say mornings aren't his strong suit?
I wonder how the Renans avoided being mind-controlled like the Helganquil.
I'd say it's likely, which is pretty
ironic?
The Renans have committed grave injustices against the Danans. Now, it turns out they themselves were one—
Which must mean that the root of their evil isn't the Great Spirit, but—
Now hang on, though. It was that same free will that, without it, we wouldn't have been able to beat hatred and
Law's entirely right. In any case, it certainly can't.
Yeah.
What'd he say?
He said,
A six-armed giant. Is this the Zoogle from the request?
It's not only alive, but completely uninjured.
We'll just have to see for ourselves if it's really as ferocious as they say.
A six-armed giant. Is this the Zoogle from the request?
It's not only alive, but completely uninjured.
We'll just have to see for ourselves if it's really as ferocious as they say.
Is this a dead end?
It appears this whole room functions as an elevator. That apparatus there is likely what's used to control it.
What the? Where did they come from?
Less worry, more action. Concentrate. Lightning raging cascade!
I'm doing! Totally! In an instant!
Impact block! Enemies incoming!
Then we'll take them down! Flying freaks! What did they sit still?
Sia, can you take care of them?
No sooner said than done!
Luna Rondo!
You're on! All disasters made one!
Force Flash! Luna Rondo!
Here's the evil! Freeze Lancer!
You shouldn't have messed with me!
You're on! Take this! It's on! Ignite! There! We're cleaning house! More! There!
I'll crush you! Lightning reflexes! Tenebrous claw! I'll tear you apart!
Vacuum blade!
Where are you going?
Talon storm!
Luna Rondo!
Here! Now! This ends now!
Consider yourself finished!
There you go, Alvin!
It's time to end this battle!
I'm right beside you! Now! This ends now!
Consider yourself finished!
Blaze
Now!
of fear!
Luna Rondo!
You made quick work of more!
Want me to pick up your slack then?
Just pointing it out!
As impressive as always.
Won't save you!
And here I hope that wasn't true.
No, I mean, you're even better than ever.
I've never seen Xion actually look flustered.
Burn in hell!
We're in trouble! Now!
Chill!
This ends now!
Consider yourself finished!
Reinforcements?
Luna Rondo!
Take this!
Will this help? Here go! Lightning condensed! Dragon Blade!
You should have messed with me!
You're really, really strong out there.
I'm just trying to do the best I can.
Still, it's reassuring to have you around. Keep calm and take them
You
down.
found the wrong fight, More! Luna Rondo!
Flame of fury! Burning strike!
Blaze of fear!
Luna Rondo!
Anything in armor is all mine! Now you see what I can do!
Luna Rondo!
Eat
Luna
this!
Rondo!
Magic is explosion!
Dragon Shell!
Love more!
This one's mine!
Luna Rondo!
Masters made one!
First
Come
strike!
forth, the helix of
By the power of
flames!
First
Without a
strike!
trace!
Burn in hell!
Here
Power
goes!
hurricane! Luna Rondo! Remote!
Astral energy!
Say no more.
Shot!
Well done! Do it!
Luna Rondo! I'm not done!
Whirlwind
I'll
bring you down! Illuminate the dark!
Luna
It can
Rondo!
stand! I'm all stuffed up!
Now I'm real mad!
Mega Run between heaven and earth!
Luna Rondo!
A wailing density of lightning!
Swallow
I'll heal you all!
Eat dirt! First strike! Luna Rondo!
Chain between heaven and earth!
I'll crush you! Lightning reflexes! Tenebrous claw!
Radiant pierce! Chain between heaven and earth!
Luna Rondo!
A wailing density of lightning! Radiant pierce! Dance in the wind!
My turn!
Sweet
Luna Rondo!
I'll be saving this one's mine!
I can feel my precision improving.
Even in such a harsh environment as this, there are still creatures here?
You think they're native to Rena? Or could they be Zoop? Somehow.
Whatever they are. They're dangerous. Watch yourselves around them. You think that pit stretches all the way to Rena's?
Looks like trouble with a capital T!
Where are you
Together,
going?
we've got
Let the
this!
marksman
Luna
handle this!
Rondo!
Dance in the wind! Finish without a trace! These things really get on my nerves. Where are you going?
Luna Rondo! Prepare to be... We've got flyers!
I've got this! Let a marksman handle this!
All yours! Luna Rondo!
Do it!
Look sharp! Lightning Tiger Blade!
See that?
That training's paying off! Luna Rondo!
Now turn it back! A whirling
Luna
trouble!
Rondo! Do it! Look sharp! Lightning Tiger Blade! Now!
This calls for a celebratory drink.
I have a bad feeling about this.
Severing Wind!
Don't mind if I do!
This one's all mine!
Radiant denied! Here! These ones can run rings around us!
Vacuum Blade! Prepare to be healed!
Fury!
Come one,
Now
come
you see
all!
what I can do!
Burning strike!
Super Swallow Dance!
Dance in the wind! Here's Thunder! A whirling
Luna
trouble!
Rondo!
Here, let me help! Winds of heaven!
Take this!
Do it!
Luna Remote!
Astral energy!
Say no more.
Shot!
Well done!
Severing Wind!
First aid!
You're on! Luna Rondo!
Lightning supernova! Mega ray!
Luna Rondo!
Gale force! Let me show you
Here I come! This one's all mine!
done!
Burn!
Watch this!
Who's in the sky?
Dance!
Thanks for the healing. Watch your back, okay? Yeah.
Take
Do
this!
Where's evil?
Nothing gets by me! I'll finish you here and now!
Do it!
Totally! In an instant! Impact block!
We won that by a mile.
This one's stuck!
Got you! One more!
Luna Rondo! Luna Rondo!
By the power of hell! It's not even fair! I never miss!
It's time!
Here I go!
The flame inside
I can carve through
I'd be
more.
like free! Win!
Illuminate magic is there!
Nora!
Do it!
Kisara! Commander of Heaven!
Phoenix Cyclone!
Now! I'm nearly done for!
I'll fix you up!
Burn! Too fast!
Stand back.
I'll trip it up.
Now, all good things come to an end.
Vacuum blade!
Mega Ray!
Here we go again.
Vacuum blade!
Watch it!
Seven Eye Aqua! Talon Forge, I'm not in your dream! Mega Ray!
Denied!
By the power of water! Can't be Mega Ray!
Here we go again.
Weak!
Quit pushing yourself and get behind us!
I'll be right as rain in no time! Raging Cascade! In here! Will this help? Get on in there with me!
Not done yet!
I don't even know the word defeat! Into the shadows! I'll bring you back from death's abyss!
Never can't get out of this!
Lunar Rumble! Where are you going?
We did it!
As impressive as always.
Here I hope that
No, I mean you're even better than ever. I've never seen Xion actually look flustered.
Lunar Rumble!
Anything in armor is all mine!
It looks like
Armor
you got
won't
this one
save you!
covered. Here, let me help.
I'm ready! Super Swallow Dance! Denied! I'm on a roll now!
Into the shadows!
Severing Wind! It's time!
Finish without a try, Andy. Don't mind if I do.
Super Swallow Dance!
Raging
Talon
Cascade!
Hurricane!
Fresh! See what I can handle? Glacial Field!
Force Blast! This one's all mine!
Winds are cutting!
Force Blast!
Lancer!
Strike!
I've let you all
Force
down.
Blast! Stay away from my friend! Force
More
Blast!
for the stockpile!
Mirage!
Healing circle!
Can't move!
I'll bring you back from death's abyss! Dance in the wind! Air acceleration! Photon flash! Jungle with water astral energy!
Talon
This should
Hurricane!
do it!
Resurrection! A drinking water!
Striking Justice! Force Blast!
That'll bring you down! Air
Strike!
Talon
Force
Hurricane!
Blast! The flame and strike!
Now let's take it!
You picked the wrong fight!
Freeze Lancer!
Strike! Force Blast!
There! I'll smash you!
A wailing Banshee of
Force
lightning!
Blast!
Talon Storm! Can't get out of this!
Lightning! Outstanding form!
I'm on a roll now!
Radiant here!
Force Blast!
Targeting stars of light! Will this help? Rain down and
Far
purify
enough!
all!
Eat this!
Force Blast! Strike!
Healing
Force Blast!
Why'd you heal
There you go!
To stop you dying?
I'll finish you here! I'll crush you! Lightning reflexes! Tenebrous claw!
Strike! This one's all mine!
Anything in armor is all mine! Now you see what I can do!
Do it! Totally! In an instant! Impact Claw!
This should come in handy when crafting weapons.
My word. This must be... the